In other news we're following for you, the former Bosnian Serb warlord Ratko Mladic has died in a prison in The Hague. The so-called Butcher of Bosnia was serving a life sentence for genocide and war crimes, including over the siege of Sarajevo and the 1995 Srebrenica massacre of 8,000 Bosnian men and boys. After the Bosnian War, he spent years in hiding before his 2011 arrest in a village in northern Serbia. Just this past Monday, the Serbian government reiterated an appeal to release Mladic on health grounds. For more, let's cross to Belgrade and correspondent Laurent Rouy. Laurent, we heard the announcement come from the Serbian state television this Thursday. What more do we know?
Well, President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, made a number of requests for the liberation of Ratko Mladic on health grounds. It is known that since 2024, Mladic suffered a number of strokes. He was ill. He was in the prison hospital, and government of Serbia requested his release a number of times, including, you just said it, 7 days ago. This was refused. And in fact, the fight around Ratko Mladic was very much based on a side who would request for his release, and the victims and the Bosnian representative, Muslim Bosnian representative, who feared that he would be released after the crime he committed. Let's remind that Ratko Mladic was condemned for genocide, a war crime, and crime against humanity for Srebrenica and for the siege of Sarajevo. Let's, for example, quote the reaction of the former mayor of Srebrenica, who said that Mladic reached an elder age, which was not the case of his victims. The former mayor himself, Mr. Chamil Djurakovic, was a survivor of the Srebrenica massacre. Still in Bosnia, the leader of the Bosnian Serbs accuses the tribunal to have murdered Ratko Mladic by leaving him in the hospital and not by releasing him. So again, you can see some nationalistic reaction after the death of someone who is considered by a hero by many Serbs. And the fight, in fact, since 2024 around Ratko Mladic was whether he would be released on health grounds or whether he would stay in prison.
The 1995 Srebrenica massacre was the worst one of its kind since World War II. Yet, Laurent, when we were looking earlier at man-on-the-street interviews in Belgrade, most people depicted him as a victim. Is that the general sentiment in Serbia today?
Well, in Serbia, there are very mixed reactions and mixed feeling about Ratko Mladic. There is an important, sizable part of the population who consider Ratko Mladic as a military hero of the war, of the breakout of Yugoslavia. And many consider that he saved many Serbian lives and that he was merely fighting against then Serbs' enemies, which are the Bosnian Muslims and the Croats from Bosnia. So there is a number of people who still see him as a hero. Let's quote, for example, the reaction earlier this afternoon of Vojislav Šešelj, a far-right radical politician of Serbia, who accused the tribunal to have murdered Ratko Mladic and depict him as a hero. So there are very mixed feelings, a number of different opinions. In fact, the Serbs who consider Ratko Mladic as a criminal are probably not as numerous as the one who consider him as a hero. And there is a big part of the population who consider that these are stories from the past and that they should not be talked about anymore.